श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यगतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्वन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः विषेमदेवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ प्रज्ञानां क्षिप्रदानैः स्थिरचरनिकरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् उक्त्वा भोगान् स्तविष्टान् पुनरपि धिषणोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् सविति मदिरभङ्मायया भोजयन्नः मायासङ्ख्यातुरीयं परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। जीवात्मनोः पृथक्त्वं यत् प्रागुत्पत्तेः प्रकीर्तितं भविष्यद्वृत्त्या गौणं तत् मुख्यत्वं हि न युज्यते। जीवात्मनोः पृथक्त्वं प्रागुत्पत्तेः प्रकीर्तितं यत् प्रकीर्तितं जीवात्मनोः पृथक्त्वम् उत्पत्तेः प्राक् तत् मुख्यत्वं न युज्यते किन्तु भविष्यद्वृत्त्या गौणमेव। The Upanishad Vakyas were cited in the earlier verses from Taittiriya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad by the Karikakara when he said Rasadayo hi ye koshaha vyakhyataha Taittiriyake. The 5 koshas he alluded to. Then he spoke about dvayor madhugnane param brahma prakashitam prithivya mudare jaiva yata akasha prakashitaha. That also from a Shruti Vakya in Madhugnana, this Paraspara Upakaryaka Karyatvam of the dualities were brought out to show that Advaita Brahma Sakshatkara is the import of the Shruti Vakyas, especially the Upanishads. And then he concluded also saying there is a prashasyatvam, prashamsha, okay, of jivatmanoho ananyatva rupa, the bodham which is there in Shruti. Wherever there is a jivatma ananyatva bodha is there, those are being explicitly praised. Praise in the form of Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati and all these things. And Nanatvam Nindyate, the duality is, on the other hand, is done ninda about, is is not praised, it is put down. Okay. So this means that Shruti Vakyas are Advaita Paravakyas only. The Upanishad Tatparya is only Advayam Brahma. That is the conclusion brought out by the Karikakara. In that context, there is a question which is presumed, okay, from the Purva Pakshi, based on which the next verse is brought out. And what is this objection? So Bhashyakara introduces Nanu Shrutyapi Jiva Paramatmanoho Prithaktvam Yat Pragutpattehe Utpatti Artha Upanishad Vakyebhyaha Purvam Prakirtitam Karmakante Anekashaha Kamabhedatah Idam Kamaha Adah Kamaha iti Srutyapi. So he says, even by the Veda, across all the Vedas, the duality, the Dvaitam, which is in the form of Jiva Paramatmanoho Pritaktvam. The Jivatmanoho here means Jiva Paramatmanoho, the Jivatma and Paramatma being different. Pritaktvam yate Pragutpattehe Utpatti Artha Upanishad Vakyebhyaha Purvam. So the Upanishads start with some of the Srishti Vakyas. Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asiti Ekameva Dvitiyam Tasmadva Etasmad Atmana Akashas Sambhutaha. All these Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Right? There are quite a few Shruti Vakyas which talk about Srishti, Utpatti. And before the Utpatti, there is a talk about Upasana. And prior to that, there is a lot of Karma Kanda Vakyas are there which help you perform various rituals. So, and those rituals are being spoken about in the context of Jiva Paratma Veda. Because when you do this yajna, it is the Paramatma which is going to give you the benefit of that yajna. Whatever punya and papa you accumulate also, it is only the Paramatma which is in the form of Ishvara that gives you the effect of your punya and papa. And all this is spoken about in Karma Kanda. Utpattehe prak Utpatti Artha Upanishad Vakyebhyaha Purvam. Before this, the sentences which talk about Utpatti, Prakirtitam Karma Kande, in the Karma Kanda, where in Karma Kanda Anekashaha, in many places, not like one or two places. Across your Karma Kanda, in multiple places, this duality, Dvaitam, is explicitly spoken about. It's not only in the Vyavahara we are talking about Dvaitam. In the world, even Veda Vakyas are talking Dvaitam only. It is very evident. So, you cannot tell me that Dvaita is just a Vyavahara. Shruti is only talking about Advaitam Brahma. If it is there, then I can accept. Okay, Shruti Vakya is, 1 second, there is some, I just opened one other PDF. Okay. So, उत्पत्त्यर्थ उपनिषद्वाक्येभ्यः पूर्वं प्रकीर्तितं कर्मकाण्डे, where anekashaha, in many places in Karmakanda, it is being spoken about. In what context? Kama bhedataha, idam kamaha, adah kamaha. It is spoken about in the context of the kamya karma. So somebody who wants this kama may do that yajna, swarga kamo ejeta. So if you want swarga, do this yajna. Then grama kamaha, pashu kamaha, putra kamaha, ayushya kamaha. So you want better life, more ayushyam, then this kind of karma you do. Arogya kamaha, brahma varchasa kamaha. Like that, there are many kama bheda. People want different things. Everybody is not same. Everyone is not the same. Different people want different things. So there is a kama bheda. In fact, moksha is also one of the kamana. That's why just we classify them into 4 purushartha. Dharmartha, kama moksha and all that. So all these swarga kama is what? Dharma. Then grama kamaha, pashu kamaha, these are all vittam. Artha. Putra kamaha. Putra, you can take it as swarga dharma only, right? Swarga kama, this putra also generally is sought so that you can gain lokas. Ayushya kamaha, then arogya kama, all these things also artha. Some kamana, brahma varchasa, all these things, correct? Therefore, moksha also is one kind of kama only when you start. Then you recognize that all the kama is actually for moksha only. But as such, you need to seek moksha. That's why Viveka Vairagya Mumukshutvam is one of the things which is spoken about. Mokta Micha has to be there. Then only you can come to this jnanam. So that is why it is also one of the things spoken about by Shruti. Shruti, when it talks about all yajna, everything, it is addressing all 4. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, all 4 are addressed by Shruti. So all of these are Kama only. So there is a Kama Beda. Idam Kamaha, Adah Kamaha, Etat Karma Kuryat. Like that, there is a Karma Vidana. Okay. There is a Vikita Karma. And there are Karma Vakya, Kartru Bhoktru. Who is karta, who is the one who has to do and how we should do, right? So these are all based on pravritti. There is a kartrutva, bhoktrutva, all of this is assumed when karma is spoken about. Okay, yeah, jiva is separate from Ishvara, is separate from the karma being done. He is away from what is the karya which is going to, the karma pala which is going to come. He is right now away and he wants to get it now. So again, there is duality everywhere. Correct? So therefore, he says, Anekashaha kama bhedataha idam kamaha adah kamaha iti. Like that, Karma Kanda is talking a lot about duality only. Not only that, the Jiva Ishvara Bheda also is emphasized by Shruti. In 10.121, he quotes Rigveda. I think that is where I was trying to get that quote. Okay. Tadadara Prithvim Dhyam. There is one. So in this Rik, which is in the 10th Mandala, 121st Rik, which is there, where it talks about Hiranyagarbha Samavartada Agre. We spoke last class also. So that Hiranyagarbha Sadadara Prativim Dhyam. So the Hiranyagarbha is the one who is carrying, like we saw, right? This Matsya Kurma Varaha, the Avadara we were speaking about in the last session. So all these also Sadadara Prithivim Dhyam means what? The Hiranyagarbha, which is nothing but Ishvara, holds this Jagat. Okay, this Jagat, otherwise, this kind of a huge Jagat will not stand on its own. So some Ishvara has to hold it up, otherwise it will fall down. So Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jatah Patireka Asit Sada Adhara Prithivim Dyam Utemam Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. So this is 10.121.1. Okay, Hiranyagarbha Prajapatyaha Trishtup Chandas. So this Rik is there, and this is where in Samhita Upanishad, in Samhita of Veda. Okay, so these are Riks, and the Rik is saying Hiranyagarbha Samavartata Bhutasya Jataha Patihi Ekaha Asit Sadadhara Prithivim Dhyam. The Prithvi as well as the Swargadi is being held by this Paraishvara. So that's why Bhashikara here says, Shrutya Jiva Paramatmanoho Pratakvam Yat Prag Utpatteha Utpatti Artha Upanishad Vakyebhyaha Purvam Prakirtitam Karma Kande Anekashaha Kama Bedataha Idam Kamaha Adak Kamaha is for Jiva. Then for Ishvara he says Parascha Sadadhara Prativim Dhyamiti. So the Para Ishvara, Para Atma, the Jivatma is the one who is the Kami, who wants this, that, and then looks at Veda to gain all those kamanas. Whereas the Ishvara is the one who is holding this whole thing, this Jagat, and who is the one who gives you Swarga and all that. So that's why Prithivim Dhyam. So Ishvara is different from you. You are different from your Kama. And the Prithvi which is being held by Ishvara is different from Ishvara. Then only he can hold it. And you are in that Prithvi. Therefore, you are different from Prithvi. All that is here is very different is what? Then only all the mantra varna will make sense. Ityadi mantra varnehi. Tatra katam karma jnana kanda vakya virodhe jnana kanda vakyartasya eva ekatvasya samanjasyam avadharyate iti. So how come katam karma jnana kanda vakya virodhe? So these are in totally opposite, with opposite meaning. You are saying the Upanishad Vakyas imply that all that is here is non-dual Brahmavastu. Jiva is Ishvara, Ishvara is Jiva, Ishvara is Jagat, Jagat is Ishvara, Jiva is Jagat, Jagat is Jiva. And all that is here is Mithya, there is only one Brahmavastu. If this is the Jnanakanda Vakya Artha, Karma Kanda Artha, there is a Virodha, they are opposed. Then Jnanakanda Vakya Arthasya eva Ekatvasya Samanjasyam Avadharyate Katam. How are you saying only the Jnanakanda Vakyas are correct? If there are two things which are totally opposite to each other, only one can be correct. Okay. So you are saying only Jnanakanda Vakya is correct. That means Shruti becomes Apramanam for Karmakanda. That means Shruti is saying something which is not true. You can't, that is not acceptable for you also, because you are also a Vaidika. Even though you are a Vedanti, you are still Vaidika. So Shruti will lose its Pramanyam if you have to say Karmakanda Vakyas are wrong. Therefore, how are you saying only this is correct? You have to either accept both are correct, or I can also say mine is correct. So how come you are saying? This is the question. Atra uchyate yato. They are saying who? The Purva Pakshi. Okay. That is whatever they are quoting. And Bhashikara is now saying Yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yatprayanti abhishamvishanti iti. Like that there is Taittiriya Upanishad in Bhrigu in Bhrigu there are Vakyas. yato va imani bhutani jayante, from which all this here is born. This is Srishti. That's why Utpatti Vakya. This is an Utpatti Vakya. Okay, that is what is called Prag Utpattehe. He says in the first sentence, right? Utpatti means creation. Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Imani bhutani yataha jayante. That from which whatever you are seeing as this life form and all the inert, whatever is known through this cognition for you, all these life and non-life, everything is born from what? That is what is Brahma. That Vijijnasasva. Why don't you go and understand? That is what Bhrigu says. Bhrigurvaiva Runihi. Varuna says, right? To Bhrigu. Varunam Pitaram Upasasara. So the Bhrigu goes and meets his father Varuna. And Varuna says, Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti yatprayan. So why don't you go and seek that Brahma from which all that is born, all that is here is born. So it is about Utpatti. There is a birth. Yatagnes Shudra Vispulingaha. Like the spark, so many sparks that come out of fire. Like that, from this Brahma, all these Jivatmas, Vispulingaha, are born. Again in Brihadaranyaka. Then Tasmadvaye Tasmad Atmana Akashas Sambhutaha. We have seen this many times. In Taitriya, from this Atma which is Brahma, Akasha is born. Again Srishti. Tadaikshata Tat Tejo Asrijata Chandogya. In our Tattvamasi portion, Tadaikshata, it saw. Okay. Sokameta is all Tadaikshata, all same. Tejaha Asrijata, it created the elements, the fire. Again, there is a Srishti. The creation is spoken about ityadi utpatyartho Upanishad vakyebhya prak pritaktvam karma kande prakirtitam. So they are quoting this. And then saying these are this utpatyartha Upanishad vakyebhya. Before all these utpatyartha Upanishad vakya, there is a pritaktvam that is spoken about in karma kanda. Like Taitriya Upanishad, before that in Yajurveda, all Dvaita is spoken about. Similarly, in he Chandogya in Samaveda, again Karmakanda is there. So everywhere it is spoken about. Therefore, what about those? So Bhashyakara says, Tat na paramartataha. But the import of them is not Dvaita in an ultimate sense. There is no paramartha artha for the Pritaktvam. They don't intend to talk about duality. Kim tarhi, then what is it? Bhashyakara says, Gaunam. It is talking about something which is coming after. So it is, what do you say? It is an expression. It is a figure of speech. It's a Gaunam. It doesn't mean it. It doesn't mean the duality. Okay? He will explain. Mahakasha, Ghatakasha, Dibhedavat, Yata Vodanam Pachati iti Bhavishyadvritya Tadvat. So, Vodanam Pachati. Vodanam means cooked rice, boiled rice. Okay? Annam, cooked food. But Tandulam means uncooked rice. So, when the rice is being cooked, in English both are called rice, boiled rice, it is also rice. In Sanskritam it is Tandulam and Vodanam. So, when the uncooked rice is being cooked, so you don't say Tandulam Pachati, but we say Vodanam Pachati. The cooked food is being cooked. Okay, that's how you can translate. Now, how can you say cooked food is being cooked? Only uncooked is getting cooked. Therefore, it is Bhavishyad Vritya. You know what is coming. You know the effect that will be there, which is cooked food. So you say, the Odanam Pachati. You don't say Tandulam Pachati. That is because you know that is what is the outcome. So with that drishti, right away you start talking about it. Similarly, the Ishvara is introduced in Karma Kanda, Bhavishyad Vritya. This same Ishvara you are first introducing as though he is different from you and is the one who is giving Punya Papa, who is holding the Jagat and all this. And towards the end, you actually reveal that there is no Nanatvam. The question is, why should Shruti do all this? Right away say there is only Dvaita, Advayam Brahma. It can say that, no? At the Karma Kanda itself, it can reveal. But the problem is, the person who is wanting it, the karma, pala, is not seeking Brahma. Whatever you ask, that only Shruti will give you. And people, like we saw, there is a different kama. Someone has Putra kama, someone has Ayushya kama, correct? Someone has Pashu kama. Why is it disturbing me? I don't know. Okay, so the kama is different. Everybody doesn't have the same. So there are only few who are seeking moksha. Not everybody is seeking moksha. Therefore, we cannot say Karma Kanda cannot tell you talk about moksha to people who are asking for kama, and it will be counterproductive. How will that person do his karma? When the person is asking for a putra or whatever, and you are giving an yajna, and that person is not even interested in moksha, if you go and tell him that there is only non-dual Brahma, then what will he get out of that? One is he won't understand the statement. Second is he will lose Shraddha and Karma Kanda also. Actually, Karma Kanda has the ability to give what he wants. Just because it is everything is Brahma doesn't mean my Putra Kameshri won't work. Therefore, if you are not even seeking moksha, there is no need for Veda to talk about moksha in Karma Kanda. In Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampat, Viveka Vairagya Samadhi Satka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam is essential. Then only when the moksha may moksha may bhuyat iticha, that may I gain moksha, that kind of seeking that I want to gain moksha has to be there. When that search is there, then only this jnanam will work. Otherwise, it will not be beneficial. So you should talk about moksha only to people who are mumukshus. Na buddhi bedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. Don't talk about moksha to people who are karma sangis, the one who want karma phala. The jnana kanda is only for people who are seeking jnana. Therefore, the Veda doesn't have to talk, and it is not appropriate for it to talk about the Swarupa in Karma Kanda. However, Bhavishyad Vritya, what is coming later, it has to introduce Ishvara in Karma Kanda, also with the purview that in Jnanam, in Upanishads, the same Brahman is going to be spoken about for understanding what is moksha and what is my Swarupa. Okay. In fact, There are statements like Tarati Shokamatnavit, So Anveshtavyaha Sa Vijijñasitavyaha Brahmavida Apnoti Param. Like these Vakyas are there. Even these Vakyas can be looked upon as seeking something from Ishvara who is other than you. Tarati Shokam Atmavit. So this one Tikakara says, Nahi yaha Shokatarana Bhilashi Saha eva Paramatma iti na yujyate. The person who wants to cross over Shokatarana Abhilashi. So the person wants to cross Shoka, and you are telling him you are yourself Paramatma, you don't have to cross. What is this? Then he also says, Nachayaha Paramatmanaha Anveshta Saha eva Anveshtavyaha So Anveshtavyaha. The person who is trying to see what is Brahman, you are saying that person itself is Brahman. And that person Brahmavid apnoti param. So there, I want to gain something. You are saying no, you are already gained. There also, how can you say it is only talking about Advayam Brahman? That question also comes. So that difference also is now so Gaunam. This and he gives another example. This thing Mahakasha Gatakashadi Bhedavate. This also Gaunam. Why? When you start talking about Mahakasha and Ghatakasha, it is with an intent eventually to say that all that is there is only Akasha. But at the beginning you say, in this Ghatakasha, you can only put rice inside that pot. You cannot put an elephant inside it. All that you, from the drishti of Ghata, you can talk. And eventually, you show that even though there is a difference between the work activity that can be done within Ghatakasha and Mahakasha and Karakakasha, Avarakakasha and all these things. But that is only from Upadi Drishtya. Bhavishyad Vrittya, all that is there is only Akasha. Like that to show that you start with Mahakasha, Ghatakasha. Again Bhavishyad Vrittya only. And like I said, there is a Bheda in Adhikari, the one who is seeking, and one who is whose kamana is different. You can't give a different solution. Nahi Bhedavakyanam kadachitapi mukhya Bhedarthakatvam upapadyate स्वाभाविक अविद्यावत् प्राणिभेद दृष्टि अनुवादित्वात् आत्मभेदवाक्यानां भेदवाक्यास are anuvada. See that is very important. The apurvata is essential for Vedavakyas. Veda has to reveal something new. Then only it becomes a pramana. It can't tell the same thing which you already know. Okay, however, if Veda is talking about, you are asking Veda for, see, there are three things we always say Veda is pramana for, right? Where you know the means, you don't know the end. Where you know the end, but you don't know the means. And where you neither know the means nor you know the end. This is where Veda becomes a pramana. And suppose I need a putra, and I am not getting a putra for whatever obstruction which is there, that I am not able to resolve in a material secular ways, right? Then I go to Veda as a pramana, and Veda as a pramana gives me a means which I don't know. End I know, having a putra, but means I don't know. So it gives you a means. Now when it is giving me a means for putra, in that context, there is an anuvada. What anuvada? That I am an individual and my putra is another individual, so there is a dvaitam, and then there is yajna. All these you have to do anuvada of what the person is already thinking. Then only that karma can be given. Within the construct of dvaita only, a putra kameshti can be done, not with the advaya bhava. Therefore, it is a swabhavika avidyavat prani bheda drishti anuvadi. Anuvada of swabhavika avidyavat prani bheda. The prani bheda is there, swabhavika. The avidya within avidya, the duality is there, and within that duality, the person is seeking a karma because there is a seeking of a karma for which a karma is being provided by Veda. That's all. You can't take the mukhyartha that it implies there is a difference between the putra and the pita and the karma. You can't take like that, because the Veda Vakya is within a context and a purpose. And the seekers is seeking only kama. Correct? Dharma artha kama only is seeking, not moksha. This person, for within the context, the Veda Vakya is there. Kadachitapi mukhya Vedarthakatvam na upapadyate. So you cannot take the Karma Kanda Vakyas to mean that there is a duality and moksha is not possible. It's a very wrong interpretation, is what he says. Swabhavika avidyavat prani bheda drishti anuvaditvat Atma Veda Vakyanam. So these Atma Veda Vakyas, the intent there, it's not about Atma at all. The intent of that section itself is for a person who is an avidyavan. Only for the ignorant person that Karma Kanda itself is. But it is a pramana. Within the realm of duality, it is a pramana. Ihacha Upanishatsu Utpatti Pralayadi Vakyaihi जीवपरात्मनोः एकत्वमेव प्रतिपिपादयिषितम् तत्त्वमसि अन्योन्यसौ अन्योहमस्मीति न स वेद इत्यादिभिः. Here, in this, because we are in Mandukya Upanishad, so he says in this Upanishadsu Utpatti Pralayadi Vakyaihi. No, then what about the Utpatti Pralaya Vakyas in the Upanishad? Utpatti Pralaya means duality. Something was there, something it has become, and then it will resolve into something. And when it has already, there is a Utpatti, there are Jivas which are already born, isn't it? Now he says, Utpatti Pralayadi Vakyaihi Jiva Paratmanoho Ekatvameva Pratipipadayishitum. Okay. The intent of Shruti is to reveal Pratipadana, Pratipaditum Icha, Pratipipadayisha. Okay. It is the intent of Shruti is to reveal the Jiva Paratmanoho Ekatvam. The Ekatva, the non-duality between the Jiva and Paratma, Jivatma and Paratma only is the intent here. Utpatti Pralayadi Vakyaihi. Okay, so the why Utpatti Pralayadi Vakyaihi Jiva Paramatmanoho Ekattvameva Pratipipadishitam Sayaschayam Purushe Yaschasavaditye Sayekaha. This is one Vakya in Taitriya. This Ayam Purushaha Yaha Asau Aditya Yaha Sayekaha Asavadityo Brahma. In Sandhya Vandanam also we get this. Ayam Purushaha Aditya Sayeka is all one. It is spoken. Aham Brahmasmi. Mahavakya is there. Tattvamasi. These are direct Vakyas. which talks about non-duality, isn't it? So the non-dual Brahma is spoken about directly. And then anyaha asau, anyaha aham asmi iti na saha veda. The one who thinks I am different from this is the one who is ignorant ityadibihi vakyaihi pratipipadaishitam. So the Srishti Vakyas in that context, in the context of Utpatti Vakyas, these come. Tattvamasi come. Even though it starts with Sadeva Saumya Idamagrasit and all that, then it says Tadaikshata, Tattejaha Asrijata. After all that, it finally says Tattvamasi. So, the Utpatti Pralaya Vakya, in the context, they conclude saying that you are that. So, the intent is not to say that Utpatti has taken place. It is said only to show there is only one Vastu, you are non different from it. Upanishatsu ekatvam shutya pratipipa ataha Upanishatsu ekatvam shutya pratipipadishitam bhavishyati iti bhavinimiva vrittimasritya loke vedadrishti anuvadaha gaunaha eva iti abhiprayaha. Therefore, whatever is revealed in Upanishad, that Aikya, that Ekatva is in a Gauna Vritti is spoken in the Karma Kanda. Okay, Upanishatsu Ekatvam Shutya Pratipipadishitam Bhavishyati. In Upanishad, towards the end of Veda, it is going to be revealed that all that is here is only Brahma. Okay, that is going to be revealed later. Therefore, in Karma Kanda itself, Bhavinim iva vrittimasritya, like Odanam Bachati. So you are saying Odanam is being cooked. Okay, the Odanam is getting cooked. But at this time there is no Odanam, but only Tandulam. Similarly, even though Ishvara is only going to be spoken about in Upanishad in its true sense, but Bhavinim iva vrittimashritya loke Veda drishti anuvadaha, with Loka drishti. So superimposing the whatever is being looked upon by the ignorant world, the same thing is superimposed on the Brahmastu. In the context of Karma Kanda, it is spoken about. Okay, but there is no Tatparya that you should take. In fact, the entire Srishtivada itself, the Utpatti itself, there is no Tatparya. Only to reveal. Okay, so this whole Srishti is spoken about also. What is the purpose of Srishti? In fact, he is going to talk later in the next verse. There is no Tatparya in Srishti also, because in one Upanishad the Srishti is spoken in one way, in another Upanishad it is spoken in another way. In one Upanishad it says it's Panchikritam Jagate, in another Upanishad it's Ket Trivikritam. So there are only three things. And in one place it says Akasha, Vayu and all that, that is how the Srishti takes place. In some other place, some other way Srishti is spoken about. So the point is not about how the Srishti came about. There is no absoluteness in it. Like whether it happened at the Big Bang or it happened in some other way, how did it, that is not the point here. The point is to only show all that is here is only Brahma. That is the only intent. So there is no Tatparya in the Srishti Utpatti also. That is why Bhashyakara says, Utpatti Pralayadi Vakyaihi Jiva Paratmanoho Ekattvameva Pratipipadishitam. The only to show that all that is here is Brahma, the Srishti is spoken about. Athava Tadaikshata tat tejaha asrijata ityadi utpattehe prak ekamevadvitiyam iti ekatvam prakirtitam tadeva cha tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi iti ekatvam bhavishyati iti tam भविष्यद्वृत्तिम् अपेक्ष्य यज्जीवात्मनोः पृथक्त्वं यत्र क्वचिद् वाक्ये गम्यमानं तद् गौणं यथा ओदनं पचति इति तद्वत्. There is another way of interpreting this. This whole verse is how Bhashyakara now says. See, how did he interpret? Pritaktvam pragutpattehe prakirtitam. Okay. And that pragutpattehe Bhashyakara takes is before the Utpatti Shruti. The before the Utpatti Shruti, he takes it as Karma Kanda. That's how he took. So in Karma Kanda, Pritaktvam Jivatmanoho Prakirtitam. Okay, that is how he took that in the so far. Okay, in this 8 or 9 lines before. Now he says you can also leave the Karma Kanda out. Okay, even within the Upanishads. Within the Upanishads itself, you can give another meaning. Jivatmanoho Pritaktvam. Where is it spoken about? In the Srishta. Tadaikshata tat tejaha asrijata. When you say tejaha asrijata, there is a srishti. The moment you say there is a srishti, that tejas is different from up. Up is different from Prithvi. Prithvi is different from Vayu. And all these are different from Jiva. Now there is a duality. Utpattehe prak. This utpatti, duality utpatti is before ekameva advitiyam iti ekatvam prakirtitam. So the way he interprets the verse is Jivatmanoho pritaktvam utpattehe prak ekatvam yat prakirtitam. Okay, before this duality which is in the form of Srishti, before that ekatvam is prakirtitam. How? Ekameva advitiyam. So if you see, Ekameva Dvitiyam is 622 in Chandogya. Tadaikshata Tat Tejaha Asrijata is 623. Okay. So what comes before what? Ekameva Dvitiyam comes before Tadaikshata Tatejaha Asrijata. Okay. So Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. So that is the first sentence. So the Sat alone was there, which was non-dual. Ekameva Advitiyam Sad Saumya Agre Asit. It was there before. From that Sadvastu Aikshata, that Sadvastu saw this Jagat, and then it creates its Srishta, its Asrijata Tejaha. It created the Tejas, the fire. Now, what was there before? Sadeva Asit. Sadvastu alone was there. So, therefore, this Utpattehe Prak Kim Prakirtitam? Advayam Brahma Prakirtitam. Correct? Therefore, Utpattehe Prak Ekatvameva Prakirtitam. Ekameva Advitiyamiti Ekatvam Prakirtitam. And then it became Pritaktvam by Srishti. Jivatmanoho Pritaktvam. Then Tadeva Tad Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi iti Ekatvam Bhavishyati. Again, later, what is going to be spoken about? Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Shvetaketo. That is 687. That comes after Tat Tejaha Asrijata. Okay. Therefore, it started with Ekameva Dvitiyam. Then it spoke about Srishti. And then it concludes saying Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi. So that therefore whatever is there, then it will say Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadeyam Mritika Ityeva Tatyam. Then Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Shvetaketo. So all that you are seeing is only Yada Mridmayam Jagate. In the case of clay world, Mritika Eva Satyam Sadeva. Here also Sadeva Satyam. Okay, in Mrinmayam Jagat also it says Vacharambaram Vikaro Namadeyam. So the Ekatvam is how it starts with. Ekameva Advitiyam. Before Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asiti Ekameva Advitiyam. That's how it starts. Then it ends Tat Satyam Atma Tattvamasi. Therefore, this whole in between Srishti is only to show that all that is here is Brahma only. It is not to show that there is duality. So duality is not the Tatparya. Mrittika ityeva satyam. Vikaro namadeyam. And then Antato Gatva only it basically says Yata Saumya Ekena Mritpindena Sarvam Mrinmayam Vijnatam Syat Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadheyam Mrittika ityeva satyam. Yata Saumya, hey my son, Ekena Mritpindena Sarvam Mrinmayam Vijnatam. By just knowing one lump of clay, you have understood entire clay world. By just understanding one lump of clay, you know what is a pot, you know what is a lid, you know what is a can, you know what is a jar. You may not know all the detailing, but you know they are all nothing but this clay. Similarly, ekena saumya ekena mritpindena sarvam mrinmayam vijnatam syat pacharambanam vikaro namadeyam. All the things are only name and form variants, but the content is only mrittika. The content, what is the content of every form? It's only mrit. So vikara jatasya mityatva abhidhanam. The mithyatvam of the vikaras and namarupa. Mrittiketyeva satyamiti karanamatrasya satyatvam avadharyate. The karanam alone is satyam. The karyam is mithya vacharamban. Similarly, in Dashtantika also, here tejo abhannanam brahmakaryata ukta. So it is the Brahma Karyatvam which is there in the Tejas. Okay, Tatkaryanam Ajnadinam Karanabhuta Tejaha Abbanna Vetirekena Abhava Vachanat. Okay, the Karanabhuta is the Brahma only. Apagat Agner Agnitvam Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadeyam Trini Rupani Ityeva Satyam is what Chandogya says. Therefore, Aitadatmyamidam Sarvam Tat Satyam. This whole thing is to show that all that is here is only Brahma. So therefore he takes Jivatmanoho Prataktvam Yat Prag Utpattehe Prakirtidam. Prakirtidam what? Not Prataktvam. He takes it as Ekatvam Prakirtidam. Okay, Utpattehe Prag. Therefore, and this Prataktvam is Utpatti itself. That's how he takes. Tadevacha Tatsatyam Tatma Tattvamasi iti Ekatvam Bhavishyati iti Tam Bhavishyadvrittim Apekshya Yet Jivatmanoho Prataktvam Yatra Kvachid Vakya Gamyamanam. Wherever this Prataktvam is spoken about in the Srishti Prakriya is all with the context of what? What is coming? What is coming? Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi. It speaks about jar, it speaks about pot. And then here in the case of the Ashtantika, it takes about Teja, it talks about Tejaha, it talks about Apu, Prithvi, everything. But all this Pritaktvam is Bhavishyadvritya. What is a Bhavishyadvritti? Tat Satyam Sa Atma Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadeyam Tattvamasi, all these things. With that in mind only, all this is spoken about. Yatra Kvachite Vakya Gamyamanam Tad Gaunam Yata Vodanam Pachati iti. That's what he says. The next one. Mrilloha Vispulingadhyehi Srishtiryachoditanyata Upayassovataraya Nasti Vedah Katanchana. Mrilloha Vispulingadhyehi. This Mrinmaya and then Loha, all these things were same in Chandogya. यथा सौम्य एकेन मृत्पिण्डेन सर्वं मृण्मयं विज्ञातं स्यात्. Then यथा सौम्य एकेन लोहमणिना सर्वं लोहमयं विज्ञातं स्यात्. यथा अग्नेः क्षुद्रा विस्फुलिङ्गाः. Okay, and then there are things like yatornana visrijate grannate cha, yata prithivyaam oshadayas sambhavanti, yata satah purushat keshalomani, tata aksharat sambhavati iha vishwam. Like that, there are many shrutis which talk about what? Cause being non-different from the effect, being non-different from the cause. Karyam karanena ananyate. Therefore, to talk about it, Marilloha Vispulingadyehi Srishtihi Ya Chodita Anyata Upayaha Saha Avataraya Nasti Vedaha Katanchana. Avat Upayaha, they are only means to show, reveal. Basically, he's saying these are Prakriyas. Why different examples? Mrit, Loha. So it says, just to get the meaning, right? Mrit. Mrit means like we have seen, clay and pot, right? Yatha Saumya Ekena Mritpindena Sarvamanmayam Vijnatam. So from one lump of clay, you understand the clay world. Similarly, Loha Manina Sarvam Lohamayam Vijnatam Syat. By the iron ore, you understand the entire world. Why? Another example. Why can't you just stop with clay? Because the usefulness, the intelligence of, in fact, Nakanikananam it speaks about in Upanishad, the nail cutter. So, irrespective of the intelligence which is into it, right, whether it is a very simple pot or an aircraft or a space shuttle, it doesn't matter. The amount of intelligence which is there doesn't mean that they are different from the cause. This is very important to understand, okay, because we say you can't be very reductionist. There is so much intelligence in this world. Okay, let's one second. I don't know, there is internet problem. So we'll see in the next class. I think we are out of time. So we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachide Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Dhanyawada.
Yeah.